Hi everyone, today I would like to talk about the importance of knowing your other timelines, so your other past lives, so then you can have access to the karma, to the possible karmics involved, and to the limiting beliefs that are coming up, and so you can tap into the core wounds attached to these limiting beliefs, and you can review the same past life at different times on your twin flame journey, and you will be shown a different limiting belief and a different aspect every time. So it will be relevant when you see what limiting belief depending on your journey, right? So the past life that is active right now and has been active for a while on my twin flame journey alongside with others, but the one that is specifically active right now is the last incarnation that I had with my counterpart. And in that life, my counterpart had a physical handicap, and I walked away from him and went with somebody else, and he then went with someone else, which will be karmic also, and the same for me. And now the way has been reenacted in this life, so then we can have access to the karma, to all the healing that we need to go through, is that when I was able to put boundaries and walk away from the interactions, the type of interactions that we were having at the time, my masculine then got triggered into his rejection wound, and it wasn't the first time, it's just again another aspect, and he then told me a few months later that he was with someone, which is the same karmic that he had been with in that same past life. When I walked away, he then went with this person, right? And so why is it important now? Because it was brought to my attention that he might be still with this karmic at this moment, and if there's a possibility that my masculine is still with a karmic at this moment, it means that he has a limiting belief that is active within him, and if there is a limiting belief active within him, then the same limiting belief is active within me. But I wasn't really aware of that limiting belief, meaning that I have worked already on that karma so many angles, but there is an aspect that I am missing, because otherwise my masculine will be already back for union. So the way is showing up in my life for me to be aware of that limiting belief is through my relationship with one of my siblings. So if you have siblings or someone that is like a sibling in your life, you would have a soul plan that is like opposite pole of each other, of the way you wanted to experience this incarnation. So what do I mean by that? Me and one of my sisters, so the one that I have the closest relationship with, is she chose on a soul level a plan where she will embody and have qualities and aspects of what this human world validates and regards as successful, and the human norms of what success means, of validating means. So then knowing her worth through these validations, right? So that is the plan that she chose. Not on all aspects, but a lot of aspects, right? And I chose on a soul level to embody and to have the qualities and aspects of someone who would not fit and respond to these aspects and values that the human world are referencing as successful and as valuable, right? So I would say her soul plan is going with the current of the human world, and I chose a plan that is going against the current of what the human world values, right? So on the soul level, there is no better plan. It's equally good and interesting, and we both gonna learn the same amount of lessons. It's just that on a human level, from the human perspective and the human experience, the plan where you go against current is gonna feel more difficult. It's gonna be more challenging because you are not fitting in. You have to learn by contrast. You have to learn by constantly being rejected, right? Because you are not fitting in. And the people who are representing this human world, in this external world, is your parents, right? And so my sister learned from being validated, and it's as challenging. It doesn't seem like it, but it is as challenging, because then she's going to be relying on these validations for her whole life to know her worth. I'm going to be looking for these validations, and if I don't have them, then learning my worth without having those validations, right? So one is, and also, and then not to reject the norms also, because the norms rejected me, the social norms and the human ways rejected me, then it's also me learning not to reject them and to go the opposite way. So it's really, on a soul level, is equally rich and interesting, but on a human level, I have to say I did experience my childhood from something a bit more challenging than my sister's, right? That's exactly the way I felt it. And the way is so interesting that now we both have children. Her children chose the same plan as me, which are the ones going against the current, and my daughter chose a plan like my sister, which is going with the current. So we have both in our lives, and so we can really understand each other, and we can really learn from each other. And that is the goal of having a plan with a sibling, or someone that is like a sibling in your life. So if you hate your sibling sometime and you want to kill them, please remember they are your best soulmate to work with, because you are gonna learn so much working with them, right? So just know that. And so the way it's showing up now for me to be aware of the limiting belief that is active that I am not aware of. So we are both qualified therapists, the same diploma, we use the same tools, we are both in a twin flame journey, and we both kind of shared our content and our experience on the social media roughly at the same time. But about a week ago, on one of the platforms, my sister had a very different response. It was much more obvious, the positive response that she had in numbers and all of that, and mine stayed the same, average, the same. So obviously we were like, oh, it's different, but because we've gone through so much healing already, and we are very aware of our dynamic and all of that, you know, I just felt really happy for her, and it's different timing for everyone. And yes, it would be great if I was experiencing the same thing, but there must be a reason why I'm not experiencing the same thing. So we left it at that. But it kind of was happening like every day for a week, right? And so when something keep showing up in your life, it usually means you didn't get what the message was, right? So there was that, and then also I started having this pain behind my neck, but it wasn't such a big pain that I was like right away, okay, what is this? Because every bodily symptom is a message from your subconscious, right? Because your mind can trick you with every kind of story and narratives, not to get you to tap into a limiting belief that is being active within you, but your body cannot lie. So if they want you to be aware of a limiting belief, the body is going to get into it, right? So if you have a bodily symptom, it's always a message from your subconscious. So I was like, okay, what is this? And it's, he kept nagging at me, and then I thought, okay, what is the message of this pain behind my neck? And And I always connect also when was the time or what was happening, what was I healing when I felt the same pain. And I tap into the moment where my masculine told me that he was with somebody. Hence this karmic that that is coming from the past life that I just mentioned. So then I thought, okay, so then that means that he's probably, there's a possibility that he's still with this karmic right now, so as I was saying. So that was the thing. And for me to understand what aspect of that I wasn't managing to understand, it came through. So with these interactions that we're having with our audience, sharing our content, and then I thought, okay, if I don't have as many likes and views on this specific platform as my sister, then there must be something wrong with me. And that's exactly the wound that I've been, working on since my childhood. So I was like, oh, okay, I get it. So it must be that is still is being activated now for a specific reason. And so the limiting belief that there must be something wrong with me if I am not shown love, if I am not validated, if I'm not loved by the external world, then of course, if you flip it, is that if there is something wrong with me, then I don't deserve to be loved and I can't be loved, right? And now, coming back to my twin flame connection and to my masculine and the limiting belief. So this limiting belief that I have, that there must be something wrong with me, therefore I don't deserve love, I don't deserve to be loved. Then my masculine also being with a karmic, knowing that he's awakened to the connection, so he knows who his true love is, but still choosing possibly to be with the karmic still, then he has the same limiting belief that because there's something wrong with him, then he doesn't deserve true love. He doesn't deserve to be loved in the right way, right? And therefore, the karmic also has this limiting belief, because you know that in the dynamic of a karmic, your masculine and yourself, you share the same limiting belief. So, and from what I've seen when I tapped into the past life, is that she's someone that has always been in love with my masculine, even though he never loved her back the way she loved him, right? And so in this life is the same. She's aware that he is not in love with her the way she deserves, but she's still accepting to be with him because she has the same limiting belief that she doesn't deserve to be loved, to have her true love, right? Because from this past life, where if someone doesn't love you, if you are not loved, then there must be something wrong with you. So that's the limiting belief that she's carrying with her, and now it's being played out again, where she's accepting to be with him even though she knows that he doesn't love her, because she has the belief that she doesn't deserve to be loved. Okay, so now you understand how to connect all the ins and outs in your life to your connection, so you can work out what is being active within you and in your masculine, and so you can really transmute this limiting belief that is brought up to your attention, right? And the core wound attached to this limiting belief that is expressed through looking for validation in the outside, from outside of yourself, from other people, from the external world, to show you love, so you know that you are worthy and you deserve to be loved and you deserve true love, and all of that is the wound of separation, the rejection, sorry, the wound of rejection. And the wound of rejection that we feel is always self-rejection. People, if they don't show you love, that means they reject you, right? They don't love you, they don't like you. So if someone doesn't love you back, or they don't choose you, you feel rejected. And they can only do that if you have the belief in yourself that you can be rejected, because you self-reject. You reject yourself first. Then people outside of you mirror that. Okay? So this self-rejection, where is that coming from? The self-rejection is coming from the wound that we feel of the rejection that we feel when we've been separated from Source. Okay? So, because we forget that we are a part of Source, that we are a spark of the divine, right? So we have this divine love within us. We are this love, right? But we keep looking for it outside of us because we forgot why we chose to experience that separation, right? So the separation that we feel from the outside, that we project, that we feel disconnected from Source, so therefore we feel like Source doesn't love us, is the inner split, inner separation that we feel within us, which is the same as feeling as if we are separated from Source, which is basically with ourselves, because Source is within us. So if we feel separated from Source, we then feel separated from ourselves, right? So that's the self-rejection, okay? So when we say twin flame love is divine love, and is your connection to the divine, is really your connection to yourself. Your twin flame connection and twin flame love is self-love. Like that's it. There's no other word to describe it, twin flame love, and everybody uses these words, you know, and it seems so easy to understand, but actually we don't really get it unless you get into the mechanics of understanding how you are feeling and working through these wounds within yourself, and how it's expressed in your outside world, and to connect all of that, then you are able to really understand this process of healing and the journey back to what you think is to each other in your twin flame journey, but basically is back to yourself, right? And I know we all say it and everybody seems to understand it, but really the nitty-gritty of it is really understanding these mechanics, right? And it's applicable for every single healing that you're going to go through, every single of them. Every trigger or every bodily symptom is that process that you need to do behind it. And so then you start to close the gap more and more between you and Source, which is basically you and yourself, right? And so when we say to be whole, to be in union or within yourself, is that. And then whenever your twin flame is going to reflect that in your outside world, in every aspect in your life. Okay? So that's what I wanted to share today.